Just a deep dive with
Something?
no warm-up today.
No warm-up. We are going straight for the jugular. Because here's the kicker.
What's that?
What if the difference between the matchbox and the sun isn't talent? What if it isn't luck and it's certainly not money?
So what is it?
What if the only variable determining the size of your life is the size of your thinking?
And that's really the core premise we're wrestling with today. I mean, honestly, I think most people, if they're being real with themselves, feel that matchbox constraint.
Oh, totally.
They feel like they have more to give, but they're sort of stuck in this loop of smallness.
Exactly. And to figure out how to bust out of that loop, we are looking at a stack of sources centered around a classic. We're diving into the international bestseller, The Magic of Thinking Big by David J. Schwartz. But we aren't just doing a dry book report here.
Yeah.
We're looking at this through the lens of a breakdown by the popular content creator R.J. Kartik, who really modernizes these concepts.
Right. And what I appreciate about looking at Schwartz through Kartik's lens is that he just strips away all the fluff. He distills the work into these really actionable learnings.
Yeah.
He frames this book not as some be positive pamphlet, which I think we're all a bit tired of,
I think so.
but as a manual,
Yeah,
a technical manual for taking your life from, 0 to 100.
it's a practical guide. We've got 10 specific learnings to get through, and some of them are surprisingly physical.
They really are.
We aren't just talking about thoughts. We're going to talk about how you walk, where you sit in a meeting, and even the movies you play in your head.
It is fascinating stuff. It's really a study in overcoming those self-imposed limitations.
So let's get into it. R.J. Kartik starts his breakdown with something that sounds simple on the surface, but he claims is the foundation of everything.
The superpower of belief.
The superpower of belief.
And he is very, very specific about that word superpower. He says belief isn't just a habit you pick up. It's the master key. It breaks the locks on your mind and opens the door to a whole new world.
Okay, I want to push back on this slightly just to play devil's advocate for a second.
Go for it.
Belief is a word we hear constantly. Just believing yourself. It can feel a bit like a platitude, a greeting card slogan.
Sure.
What is the source actually saying here that makes it different?
That's a fair critique. But here, the source uses this very mechanical analogy. He talks about belief being the spark that ignites the rocket inside you.
The spark.
Think of a rocket sitting on a launch pad as this massive metal tube, complex engineering, huge potential. But without that spark,
It's just a statue.
it's just a statue. It's a monument to potential that never goes anywhere.
So belief isn't the rocket itself, it's the ignition.
Precisely. And the source argues that most people never light the fuse because they're trapped in small goal thinking. They just don't believe the rocket can fly, so they don't even bother trying to light it.
Give me a concrete example of a small goal versus a big goal in this context.
Okay. A small goal is like survival mode.
Mhm.
It sounds like, I hope I get a job.
Right.
I hope I get a modest raise. I hope I can pay the bills this month. It's reactive. A big goal is, I'm going to start a business that changes the industry.
Or I'm going to make a name for myself that lasts.
Exactly.
But see, that sounds daunting to people. They immediately think, well, I don't know how to do that.
Yes.
I can't just believe my way into a business plan.
And that is the trap. You've just hit on the most critical point of this whole first segment.
Okay.
The source material argues that the how is irrelevant until you have the belief
The how is irrelevant. That seems so counterintuitive. Don't you need a plan?
at the start. No. Kartik explains, and Schwartz really emphasizes this, that when you truly believe, like really believe you can do the impossible, your mind automatically shifts gears.
How so?
It stops looking for reasons why it won't work and starts finding the creative power to show you the way.
So the belief generates the message.
Exactly. If you believe you can, your mind works for you. It scans the environment for opportunities. If you believe you can't, your mind just shuts down. It scans the environment for obstacles. Belief is the mechanism.
Okay, so step one is ignition. But let's be real. Even if we have the belief, even if we light the fuse, something usually gets in the way.
Oh, yeah.
We start making excuses.
Ah, yes. The second major learning, we have to talk about excusitis.
Excusitis, it sounds like a medical condition.
In the context of the magic of thinking big, it basically is. It's described as a deadly disease of failure.
Wow.
And the scary part, it's highly contagious.
I think we all know the symptoms. I mean, I catch myself with them sometimes. I don't have the time.
I don't have the money.
My situation is unique.
I have bad luck. That's a big one.
Mm.
It's a victim narrative, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was born in these circumstances, what can I do?
Yeah.
The source makes a really sharp distinction here. Unsuccessful people have a dictionary full of excuses. Successful people, they don't even have the word excuse in their dictionary.
So what do they have?
They only have one line. What is the solution?
There was a great story in the source material about this, the couple wanting to buy a home. I found this really relatable.
It's a perfect illustration of excusitis versus thinking big. So you have this couple, they want to buy a house, they find the perfect spot.
Okay.
But, like many people, they don't have the down payment just sitting in the bank.
Which is a very real, very logical problem. I mean, math is math. You can't argue with an empty bank account.
It is. Now, the source says 95% of people in that situation will react with excusitis.
What do they say?
They'll say, well, we don't have the money, so we can't do it. Maybe next year. Maybe in 5 years, let's give up for now. They let the circumstance dictate the decision.
That feels like the prudent response to many, right?
It does.
Okay.
But the person who thinks big, the person who wants to achieve something amazing, they don't look at the lack of money as a stop sign. They look at it as a variable to be solved.
They ask, what is the solution?
They ask, what is the solution? And what does that look like in practice?
Action.
It looks like action.
Yeah.
They might work extra shifts. They might take a loan from a different source. They find a side hustle. They negotiate with the seller. The point is, they make it happen because they chose action over the excuse.
It's interesting because excusitis provides a sort of comfort zone. It absolves you of responsibility.
Exactly. It protects the ego. But the source puts it bluntly. The world only remembers the people who did the work, not the people who had good excuses for why they didn't.
Ouch. But fair. Okay, so we're curing excusitis, but there's another barrier, maybe the biggest one of all.
Fear.
Fear. The villain of the story. But the source calls it an illusion, a fake chain. That's easy to say, but fear feels pretty real when your heart is pounding and your palms are sweating.
Oh, it feels very real.
Yeah.
But it's often just a shadow cast by our own uncertainty. The thing is, knowing it's a shadow doesn't always make it go away.
So you need a cure.
You need a cure, and the cure isn't just thinking about not being afraid.
Right.
You can't think your way out of fear. You have to act your way out of it.
This is where I really got excited about the source material. It moves away from philosophy and gives you actual physical hacks you can do.
Yeah, body language hacking.
Exactly. This isn't just think happy thoughts. It's about physiology. What stood out to you in that list?
Well, the first one was always sit in the front row.
Always. Whether it's a class, a meeting, an event.
Right. And why do you think that matters?
Well, usually people sit in the back because they want to hide. They don't want to be noticed or called on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Sitting in the back says, I am an observer. I am not essential. Sitting in the front forces you to be engaged. It signals to the room and, more importantly, to yourself, that you belong there.
You're a participant. What else?
Make eye contact. When you avoid eye contact, you're signaling submission or insecurity. When you lock eyes, you're signaling equality.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the walk.
Walk faster. I loved this one.
Put some speed in your step.
Yeah.
Huh.
The source says your walk should say, I have somewhere important to go and I am unbeatable. It's about projecting that energy outward so it seeps inward.
It's hard to feel depressed or timid when you're power walking, right?
It really is.
And there's a specific detail R.J. Kartik mentions that I think is so relatable. He talks about the 440-volt shock.
Oh, right. The idea that inside you might be totally terrified.
Exactly. You might feel a 440-volt electric shock of fear inside your gut. You might be trembling internally. But the key to thinking big is that you must act confident on the outside.
You keep the face calm. You walk the walk.
You walk the walk.
So it is fake it till you make it.
But with high voltage, you aren't just faking it to trick others. You are faking it to rewire your own nervous system. Eventually, the internal feeling catches up to the external action.
Okay, so we're walking fast, we're sitting in the front row. Now let's look at what's happening inside our heads. The source uses this metaphor of the cinema hall.
This is learning number 4, and it's one of my favorites. It's such a visual way to understand our thought process.
Yeah.
Imagine your mind is a giant cinema theater.
Mm-hmm.
And you, the listener, you are the projectionist. You are up in the booth. You get to decide what reel gets loaded into the machine.
And most of us are playing some pretty depressing movies on loop, aren't we?
We really are. If you choose to play the problem movie, what do you see? You see pain. You see suffering. All the reasons why things will go wrong.
And that becomes your reality.
That becomes your reality. Your brain starts looking for evidence to support the movie. But you, as the projectionist, you can switch the reel.
You can switch to the adventure movie.
Or the challenge movie. And in that film, you see obstacles as part of the plot, not the end of the story. You see yourself overcoming them. You see victory.
And the source ties us directly to vocabulary, right?
Yeah.
The actual script of the movie.
Yes. What you speak is what you become.
Hmm.
If you use positive, powerful words, you're writing a script for a blockbuster movie where you're the hero.
And if you use weak, negative words, I can't, it's too hard, I'm not good enough.
You're writing a tragedy. It's self-fulfilling, so we need to be careful about the script we're writing.
This leads perfectly into the next learning, which is about how we use our brain power. True knowledge isn't about memorizing facts.
No, and in the age of the internet and AI, that's truer than ever. Memorizing facts is for hard drives. True knowledge is creative problem solving.
It's not about knowing the answer. It's about figuring out the answer.
Exactly.
There's a morning ritual mentioned here that I think is the most actionable takeaway in the whole deep dive.
Oh, this is goals for our listeners. This 10-minute habit.
Tell us about it.
The source suggests spending just 10 minutes every single morning asking yourself one question. How can I improve my life today?
Or, what is a better way to do what I do?
Right, just 10 minutes. And we aren't talking about meditation here.
No.
It's not about clearing your mind. It's about engaging it. It's active. You sit there and you force your brain to answer the question.
How can I be more efficient at work? How can I be a better partner?
How can I make my commute productive? It sounds simple, but I imagine it's hard to do consistently.
It is, but think about the compound interest on that. If you ask, how can I do this better? Every day, your mind is forced to come up with creative solutions. You become a creative genius simply by habit.
You tune your brain from a storage unit into a generator.
I love that.
Yeah.
But even if we're doing all this, we're projecting the right movie, asking the right questions, we still have to deal with the outside world. And the outside world can be pretty toxic.
Which brings us to the diet for the mind. Learning number 6. Negativity is poison.
And it's everywhere. The news, social media.
Even friends. Especially friends or family who say, you can't do it, or that's impossible. The source says if you let that in, it's like drinking poison.
It paralyzes your ability to think big.
Totally.
So how do we fight it? We can't just live in a cave. We have to interact with people.
So Kartik suggests a technique called the self-advertisement.
A commercial for yourself.
Literally. He suggests writing down a script, an advertisement, that lists your talents, your strengths, your best qualities. And you read this aloud to yourself every single day.
I'm going to be honest, that feels a little uncomfortable.
It does.
Bragging to yourself, it feels a bit cringeworthy.
It might feel that way at first.
Yeah.
And it feels unnatural because we're trained to be modest, right?
Yeah.
But think about it. You are bombarded by advertisements from the world telling you what you lack. You need this car to be cool. You need this cream to be beautiful. The world is constantly advertising your own inadequacy to you.
That's a really good point. We are consuming anti-confidence propaganda all day long.
Exactly. So why not bombard yourself with an advertisement about why you are capable? Why not remind yourself that you are smart, hardworking, and resilient?
It immunizes you against doubt.
It's about balancing the scales.
Yeah.
It's creating a shield. And speaking of shields, we need to talk about who is standing next to us behind that shield.
Environment. Learning number 7.
Surround yourself with winners.
The analogy used here is about food.
Right. We all know that you are what you eat. If you eat junk, your body feels like junk. The force argues your mind has a digestive system too.
So your mind becomes the company you keep.
It's the classic, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. But it goes deeper than just success or money. It's about attitude.
Right.
If you hang out with gossipers, complainers, and people who are constantly pointing out problems, you will adopt that mindset. You'll become a problem spotter.
And if you hang out with winners,
You become an opportunity spotter. Their winning attitude just rubs off on you. You start to see the world the way they do, as a place of abundance, not scarcity.
this feeds directly into the concept of attitude. The source says, a person's true face isn't their photo, it's their attitude.
This is learning number 8. We often judge people by how they look, but the world responds to how they are. A negative attitude gets a negative response. A positive one attracts support.
And there's an interesting definition of confidence here. It's not just bravado or, being the loudest person in the room.
No. The source notes that a truly confident person is someone who is happy with their own decisions. If you're constantly second-guessing yourself or looking for validation from others, that's not confidence.
That's insecurity.
That's insecurity masquerading as caution. Confidence is making a call and being at peace with it.
But what about when other people are the problem? We've all dealt with rude people, difficult bosses.
Yeah.
How does a big thinker handle that? Do we just ignore them?
This is learning number 9, and it's about the cycle of respect. The natural reaction when someone is rude is to be rude back.
Right. To get angry. You shouted at me, so I'm going to shout at you. It's a reflex.
It's a reflex. But the big thinker pauses. They realize, hey, this person might be going through a personal crisis. They might be in pain. Their rudeness is likely not about me.
So the strategy is, what? Kill them with kindness.
It's give respect to get respect. But it's not just about being nice for the sake of it. It's strategic. The source suggests that if you treat them with respect, despite their behavior, you might actually help them put down their burden.
They might share their problem.
And their attitude toward you changes. It transforms the interaction from a fight into a connection.
And remember, the source emphasizes that success is a team sport.
That's it.
You cannot succeed alone. You need people's support. You can't get that support if you're constantly fighting fire with fire.
You need allies, not enemies.
Yeah.
Nobody is truly self-made. They had teams, partners, customers.
Okay, we've covered a lot. Belief, excuses, fear, the mind cinema, creativity, negativity, environment, attitude, respect. That is a massive amount of groundwork.
It is.
But the source saves the most critical point for last, the final verdict.
Learning number 10. And honestly, if you forget everything else from this deep dive, remember this one.
What is it?
Action is greater than planning.
This is where the rubber meets the road.
We can sit here and talk about thinking big all day. You can visualize, you can write self-advertisements, you can sit in the front row. But if you just sit in that front row and never raise your hand,
Nothing happens.
nothing happens. The source compares plans to notes in a diary.
Yeah.
Goals and plans are easy to write down. Anyone can buy a notebook and write, I will be a millionaire. It feels good to write it. But without action, those words are just ink on paper. They are dead.
I liked the distinction made between thinking people and doing people.
Thinking. People get stuck in analysis paralysis. They want the plan to be perfect before they move. The conditions have to be ideal. Doing people.
They just move?
They move.
Yeah.
They fix the plan while they are in motion. They change the world because they are engaging with it.
So if you look at the whole picture, the flow is really logical. It's a sequence.
It is. Let's just recap it to lock it in. First, you believe, you ignite the rocket.
How comes later?
Then you cure excuseitis. You stop looking for reasons why you can't and start looking for solutions.
You control the mind, you play the adventure movie, and banish fear by physically acting confident.
You audit your environment, you cut out the poison, and surround yourself with winners.
And finally, and most importantly,
You act.
it sounds so simple when you lay it out like that, but it really is a complete overhaul of how most of us operate.
It is. It's shifting from a defensive life, trying not to fail, trying not to look foolish, to an offensive life.
Trying to win, trying to grow.
Exactly. So what does this all mean for the listener right now?
Why should they care about this 1950s book and a YouTube breakdown?
Because life is short. That's the ultimate message. Life is too short to think small. Life is too short to be a matchbox.
The history books, the success stories, they are written by the people who dared to think they could do something different.
And you don't have to be born with it. That's the key takeaway for me. You can build it. You can walk faster today.
You can write that self-advertisement today. You can spend 10 minutes tomorrow morning asking, how can I improve?
Precisely. It's accessible to anyone willing to change their mind. It's not about resources. It's about resourcefulness.
I want to leave our listeners with a thought that really stuck with me from that cinema hall analogy.
Go for it.
If your mind is a cinema hall and you are the projectionist standing there in the booth, the moment this deep dive ends, the lights go down. What movie are you going to start playing? Are you queuing up the rerun of Why I Can't, or are you premiering the blockbuster How I Did It?
That is the question. The projector is in your hands.
And remember, the script isn't finished until you take action. So stop planning and start doing. Thanks for diving deep with us today.
See you next time.